Broadly, what I'm going to talk about today is basically in terms of what is globally happening and what I see, and what we're evaluating, how Indian context is and policy is a very critical part of it. Ruchi Soya, which is the largest company in India on the soybean side, how they're working towards it, and ultimately looking at a way forward. And the key questions are what are getting raised around both the food and the nutrition part of it. Globally, what's happening is 9 billion people, we all know that clearly is there. Billion plus people undernourished and poor health standards, which is there. But one of the key elements which is typically getting missed out is that the food prices consistently have risen, and they've risen far more in developing economies, which have taken a big hit on this account. As the world is progressing, what we're also finding is that the calorie intake at different levels of income streams is moving up very rapidly. And India is no exception to that. As we've moved up the curve, what we are finding is that the food consumption is increasing the pressure, and this also is going to drive the way food is getting consumed, and especially a big impact on the nutritious food part of it. The world has moved on, and what has happened, very clear-cut trade flows have emerged, and I think this from a policy perspective will have a very critical impact in the way the nations decide their food security, where the production is moving towards the South America side, and the Asian markets, which are increasing both in income and population, are requiring a lot of food. I'll come to India now. India is a large producer and very large consumer of food. But we are also finding that there are very big deficits which are emerging on the food front. So clearly, we are becoming a very large importers of lentils, which is high protein source in a vegetarian country. We are very large importers of edible oils, and we are consistently finding that large food shortages are also driving this whole impact on consumption side. As we are moving on, the agriculture has responded, and agriculture, what I find is that is going to be absolutely critical, the food production, to ultimately the health and nutrition part of it, where the agriculture system is also aligning in terms of producing more high-value agriculture foods like milk and horticulture and other produce. Now I'll address the health indices in India, where the two groups which have got impacted the maximum and where the health indices are extremely poor are women and children. Mostly around in terms of the anemia, in terms of the undernourishment, and this is very startlingly bad for a country which is on the high economic momentum path. And what we also find from a policy factor that it is not just about the food and the nutrition alone in terms of the health. There are a lot of food-related factors, and there are a lot of non-food-related factors, which is around the efficiency of distribution, which is around the income levels, which is around how the whole policy paradigm is working towards building up this entire food value chain. And this is reflected in this slide, where we talk about that it is, if you look at the entire policy measures, if you look at the entire private sector participation, I think one integrated approach in terms of building the necessary partnership between the various actors is becoming increasingly more important. And I think this is one of the key factors which is going to drive the way food is consumed and the way the health and nutrition part is taken up. I'm going to talk about the Ruchi now as a basic standard. And one of the key features is what I sort of like to address over the next several slides, that the attack on nutrition and health has to be at multiple levels. It cannot be just at one single level in terms of working on. So whether it is about the vaccination in the communities in which it operates, whether it is about increasing the farm income, what it is addressing by directly procuring soybeans and the other agriculture crops from the agriculturists, and by cutting out the middlemen and raising the income of the farm level, and of course improving the extension standards, both in terms of how they produce the crop, how the productivity is better, and how they can do better on it. So clearly that is becoming important. In terms of the innovations company has done is that introduction of very protein-rich soya dals, which is basically a substitute which is in South Asia getting consumed a lot, and in the nutrition deficient areas, and also looking at the subsidized soya food distribution, especially in the deficient areas, which has worked wonders in terms of the consumer acceptance to this non-traditional source of food as it is consumed. The company has done a lot of innovations as well by introducing soya dal analog, which is substitute for the high-cost proteins which are getting imported. And it is running very large fortification programs around soya flour getting injected into the flour system, where it is getting in the partnership with the state governments and working. One of the key factors which has been that, further to add to the health part of it in terms of the free medicine or distribution is working very actively. Education on the balanced diet to the rural communities and the weak areas has worked extremely successfully, and the company continues to run large programs around this area. The key factor about the women's income, which is what I spoke in the beginning, is very critical. So the women are being sort of encouraged to get trained in different vocations to add and supplement to the household income. And we have seen a very direct impact that every place where the women income went up, there was an immediate improvement in the health and the nutrition standard of the entire family, and this has worked wonders. The challenge around the companies, which a private sector large company, that how it operates, I think clearly the whole physical infrastructure as it gets created by the state, the whole social infrastructure and the policy, all three must come together to really make a big impact in the way this health and nutrition issue needs to get addressed in a country. How do we see this entire sort of role playing out? That I think setting common objectives is very important, that how the various actors in this play come together, whether the state, the private sector, the civil society organizations, the multilateral institutions like GAIN, and ultimately working towards looking at this entire, addressing the production challenge and the food distribution efficiently is very important. Lastly, I've spoken already about the iFarms, and this is what sort of we work and closely we want to work and associate with partners in terms of building this entire traction with the private sector, which is working towards improving the health and production of the food value chain. Thank you very much.